You are never alone. You are never alone. Just reach into your heart and Allah is always there. You are never alone. You are never alone. Through sorrow and through grief, through happiness and peace, you are never alone.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this afternoon's edition of your favorite program, Family Issues, of course, on your favorite channel, Huda TV. Give us a call live. You guys know the number, and it should appear on your screen as well. That's 002-02-3855-249. That's right, no longer 248, 249, as well as our email, familyissues@huda.tv, and our Facebook page as well, which should also appear on your screen, www.facebook.com/Huda TV, and also Family Issues. Now you can visit the Huda TV Facebook page in general and navigate through it in order to find that and you will find, inshallah, that each individual program does in fact have an individual Facebook page. Don't forget to give us your feedback through feedback@huda.tv as well. And like I said, each individual program also has an email, so the programs that you are following, you can reach the presenters and the program supervisors through that method as well. Now we do have a very special edition of Family Issues for you this afternoon, where we will have a special guest here in the studio, as well as via Skype as well. We will be checking the Facebook comments posted on our Facebook page for this particular program, Family Issues, later in the episode. But I would like to begin by speaking generally a little bit about Huda TV before we get into the topic, because I believe that it's very important to do so. I would like to just remind myself and the viewers that Huda TV, I believe, was one of the first, if not the first, English language Islamic channel broadcast internationally. Of course, our broadcast ranges from most of Africa, the Middle East, and Europe, and many parts of Asia as well. We believe that we are, inshallah ta'ala, the premier and the pioneer Islamic language channel. And we also have launched Huda Academy as well, which we will talk about a little bit later. But let's just stick to Huda TV in general. Huda TV, by the grace of Allah, has been operating since 2005. We began in Ramadan. And we've been working hard, and all the brothers here, by the grace of Allah, to bring you guys quality and professional Islamic programming in the English language. And we certainly hope that it has been beneficial for you guys. So please do not feel shy to support Huda TV in any way that you can by simply emailing us at feedback@huda.tv, and to help us continue to truly be a light in every home, because indeed this high quality and professional footage and studio equipment and professional technicians doesn't come for free. So it definitely is a financial challenge for us. So we certainly hope that you can bear with us and support us in any way that you can, financially as well. But also another type of support that I would like to speak about why we in the beginning of this episode, of course, before we get into our topic, is the feedback from you guys. Now, Huda TV is a very unique channel. Huda TV is a very unique channel because it offers an opportunity for the viewers at home to interact directly with the channel's management, with the presenters, with our respected scholars, to do what? Well, to benefit us and you. And we would like to give you guys the best quality programming that we can, and beneficial programming that we can. So in order to do so, we need to know what you want. We need to know where you are, your age, your gender, what you're interested in, what your community needs. Now, how can we possibly do that when our broadcast range is all across the globe? So if you are based in Nigeria, or in Chicago, or in London, or in Cairo, in Riyadh, or in Pakistan, wherever you are, you have different needs. Your community has different needs. So please email us at info@huda.tv, feedback@huda.tv. Send us messages via Facebook as well. I failed to mention YouTube, which I'll talk about a little later. All these are a feedback mechanism, a medium of communication between us and the viewers at home. So please suggest to us topics for the existing programs, guests for the existing programs, new programs as well. We really do need you guys to suggest all new creative ideas so that we can execute your ideas. That's right. At Huda TV, we are simply here, the servants of Allah, trying to execute what the Muslim people need. So let us know what you think your community needs. Do you need more family shows? Do you need cartoons? Do you need children's shows? Do you need a new show about fiqh? Do you need more hadith shows? This sort of thing. And who would you like to see? Of course, we don't know about all the qualified Islamic scholars in the English-speaking world. We need your help to find them as well. So send us names and contact information regarding your local scholars that you know, or in the country that you come from, so we can send them a formal invitation to Huda TV to benefit this program, Family Issues, as well as all of our programs, inshallah. Now, of course, another issue that we face is time management. Here at Huda TV, we are broadcasting in multiple time zones. So it definitely is hard for us to accommodate all the time zones. For example, when our viewers are at 6 o'clock in Nigeria, perhaps it's 7 o'clock here in North Africa, 8 o'clock in Mecca, 9 o'clock in the Gulf, and so on and so forth. So also let us know what times are particularly important for you for certain programs as well. And we will try to accommodate you. Now, of course, YouTube. I forgot to mention YouTube. YouTube is something that we really do need your support on. You may think that social media is kind of a fun entertainment sort of value. No, it's a tool that we use for multiple purposes. The Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, these things that we use are, number one, for the propagation of da'wah, to spread the message of Islam all around the world, just to communicate with you guys as well. You can send us messages, leave comments of our videos, like and share our posts, as well as like and share our videos as well. And this is very important to do with your Muslim and non-Muslim friends, because this is the means that Allah has given us, a medium by which to reach the people. So, and also keep in mind, as I said, we need to know who you are and where you are. YouTube has a great mechanism called Google Analytics. So when you watch or stream a video, share it with a friend, leave a comment, we know who you are and where you are, and that way we can get an understanding of what shows were more successful and what shows were less successful, what shows were more beneficial and what shows were less beneficial. So please keep in mind that it is important to support us on YouTube, and that is, of course, www.youtube.com/HudaTV. And also, the satellite signal is weak in some areas. So this is a good mechanism to watch Huda TV via online streaming as well, as we will talk about later in the episode, inshallah. But first, let me go and take this phone call, inshallah. Our first phone call of the episode, Brother Abdul Salam. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Abdul Salam.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Brother, so it's very nice to hear your voice. Thank you for calling, Brother Abdul Salam. I wish you were here in the studio with me, brother. How are you doing today?
Inshallah, I'm doing good. It's very good to hear you, brother, hear you today, and it's good to be talking with you, and inshallah, I will join you there soon, inshallah, one of these days.
Barakallah fiqh, brother. You know, brother, this is family issues where, of course, as you know, we usually discuss issues related to what? The family. But in the opening edition of this particular episode of Family Issues, I wanted to discuss the importance of Huda TV in general, and how important it is for our viewers to support Huda TV in any way that they can, whether it be with a small donation or whether it be with supporting us via Facebook, liking and sharing our comments, watching our videos and sharing those with family and friends. So please, brother, if you could speak a little bit about the importance of Huda TV in your life as an English-speaking Muslim and your family. How beneficial has it been for you?
Alhamdulillah, it's been very beneficial, because we have, many things as far as da'wah is concerned, many channels, but Huda is in English.
Right.
So a lot of the shuyukh or the sheikhs there, they explain things that I wouldn't have known before if it hadn't been in my mother tongue, English. So I mean, these brothers, they've spent hours and hours studying, and we can benefit from them. But if the language barrier is there, then it's a little difficult. You first have to study the language, which I'm doing, but before I master the language, and I could still benefit from the knowledge of the brothers there who have studied, and they are just, they're very generous with their knowledge, mashallah, and they're very helpful, alhamdulillah. So
great, brother. Great, Brother Abdul Salam. Now I want to ask you, how many years ago, when and how did you discover Huda TV?
Well, actually, I didn't discover Huda TV until I traveled to Egypt. And it was one of the programs that was on television when I was just watching television. And then Allah really blessed me to meet some brothers from Huda, and they invited me to come on some of the shows and do some nasheed work for them and things like that. And it was a blessing to really be able to get involved with the Huda community.
Yeah. And it's been our honor. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's been our honor as well. Now, brother, you mentioned your nasheed work. Can you briefly mention a little bit about what you're doing with regards to your nasheed? Can we expect to see you on Huda TV as well? And if you have a Facebook page or a website, if you could share that with the viewers as well, inshallah. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, if you look at some of the shows, and you'll see, some different nasheed intros. But right now, I have a website. And the best way to view my website is to go to Facebook. Everyone knows Facebook, right?
Yeah, of course.
You can go to Facebook, and my name there is Street Imam. That's Street, I-M-A-M, right? STREETIMAM.
Okay.
And then you can link up to my website there. And I just want to say something about Facebook, too, you know. It's like a double-edged sword, right?
Right.
But what I've done on Facebook is this, you know, all of my friends, most of them are Muslim. So you create a Muslim environment on Facebook. And it's very helpful. But, yeah, you can go on Facebook and check me out, inshallah.
Okay, what about YouTube, brother?
Say it again?
What about do you have a YouTube channel where we can stream your videos, your video, Alhamdulillah? Do you have a YouTube channel for this as well?
You said, I'm sorry if I would hear you a little choppy because I'm actually walking in the street on my cell phone right now.
Okay. No problem, brother. Well, I certainly appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us your Facebook information as well. And I look forward to talking to you again in the near future, inshallah, brother.
Yeah, man, it's been a blessing just to know you, brother. You're a beautiful brother, in my opinion, man.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's a blessing to know you, and I'm looking forward to coming on and doing a nasheed for you. I'm trying to think if I have anything for you right now.
If you do, you can go ahead. If you feel you can go ahead.
Well, what I'm working on now is one about, just the modesty, being modest in Islam,
Great.
And it's called Beauty, and it's about being modest. And I'll just sing a little bit for you from the hook.
Go ahead.
And it's really simple. It's just let your beauty shine from within. Let your beauty shine from within. And it just talks about inner beauty, letting that beauty shine rather than relying on the outer beauty. Because really, the inner beauty, that is true beauty,
Yes, brother. Well, I thank you so much for your time. I appreciate those statements. And your nasheed, alhamdulillah, really is a beautiful one that I benefited from myself. So I certainly hope that when you finish writing this one, you can come on the channel here and do it live for us, inshallah.
Inshallah, I will come, inshallah, do a special for Huda, inshallah.
Hey.
And we got to hang out, man. We got to go have some tea or something,
Inshallah.
A cup of tea with me and you is overdue, brother.
Thank you, brother. I certainly appreciate it.
Jazakumullah khair.
Wa jazakum, brother. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. You guys at home, thank you for staying tuned to Family Issues. We are about to formally begin our episode and discuss the topic at hand, but we did have a wonderful phone call from Brother Abdul Salam, really reiterating the importance of Huda TV. Now, I'm sure you have seen many of our programs, our Eid programs. We feature Brother Abdul Salam, and he is actually a nasheed artist. He has a wonderful nasheed titled Alhamdulillah, beautiful, really raises the iman, and he's done it. He's performed it here with me on Family Issues before, I believe, and inshallah ta'ala, we hope in the future to have him perform his latest nasheed, which he just sung a part of, in the future as well, inshallah. Now, why did we bring this topic up? Why did we mention it? Really, it shows this platform of Huda TV. We don't want to lose it. We definitely want to keep it up and running. It's beneficial in multiple levels. It's beneficial for the youth as they are struggling to find their way in this world of social media and entertainment and music and movies. We can bring them brothers like Abdul Salam who are making non-instrumental nasheeds that are beneficial and positive. So this is something beneficial for the youth and for adults alike. We have programs like Family Issues that address our needs as fathers and mothers and parents and members of the community. And we also have programs like Ask Huda that are really the nuts and bolts of the channel that really answer the questions, the hard questions that you need a specialized Islamic scholar for, which we're very proud to have in Dr. Muhammad Salah as well as Sheikh Asim Al-Hakim, who broadcasts from Jeddah. Very important programs, of course. We recently launched Deceptions. I was honored to host Dr. Haitham Al-Haddad from the Muslim Research Development Foundation based in London, and he really clarified a lot of misconceptions that many people are afraid to address. And this was very, very, very beneficial, especially for Muslims in the Western countries. So we are calling on them to do their part. They have been benefiting from us and the hard work that we are doing for the sake of Allah, so we certainly hope that they can also be generous enough to help Huda TV continue to broadcast and to be a light in every home. We've also recently launched a program called Islamic Finance, Brother Elmer Kolan from Bosnia. A wonderful program that really shows the diversity of programming here at Huda TV, that we are truly trying to address all lifestyle needs. So this is very important. We certainly hope that we can continue to do so. You guys stay tuned in the next segment, inshallah ta'ala. We will be getting into our topic. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to Family Issues.
Never alone. You are never alone.
فلا وربك لا يؤمنون حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما. There are 3 levels. Sister Rayhan from Bahrain.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Fahim from Sweden. السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم Sheikh, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, barakallah feek Fahim. May Allah bless you and your family.
Sheikh, I have one question.
Now, that is not allowed. Why isn't allowed? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man ghasha falaysa minna." He who deceives or betrays does not belong to us. He's not one of us. A person who is given the sadaqah or leading the prayer does not have necessarily to be praying fard. Maybe he's praying the nafl that is after the prayer, the 2 sunnah after dhuhr or after maghrib or after isha. And the follower, the imam, will be praying with the intention of offering the fard that he has missed. Okay, barakallahu feek.
Reading the Quran is a blessing. Understanding its translation is beautiful. But diving in depth and extracting pearls from it is simply amazing. Do they not ponder upon the Quran? Every week, inshallah, we will dig deep and reflect on the verses of the Quran one by one.
Quran in Depth with Sheikh Ibrahim Zaidan, only on Huda TV.
Never alone. You were never alone.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back, you guys, to Family Issues. As I promised in the second segment here, we do have a very special guest. He is the host of Viewers Pulse as well as The Straight Path, which has been really an ongoing live hit show on Huda TV. So please continue to support this brother on his Facebook and YouTube channel as well. Of course, I'm talking about Brother Osama Shami. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Osama.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa
Hey, man, it's
barakatuh.
good to have you on the program.
I thought you were the host of Yours Pulse.
Well, you know, times change, so we have a new host. I'm happy to. I want you to host me on it soon, inshallah.
Inshallah,
Okay.
hopefully by the end of this year, inshallah.
Great. Brother, thank you for joining me on Family Issues. Let's talk about parenting. Of course, Allah has blessed you with young children and myself as well.
Alhamdulillah.
So you're a young guy. I'm old. I'm 31.
You're young.
Relatively
Why are
young.
you saying you're old? I'm 28. You're 20.
Right.
You're 31. That's
Yeah,
not old.
you're always young anyway. So,
Alhamdulillah.
you know, my grandma, I asked her, she's still young, so everybody's still young. But let's talk about parenting, the challenges, the obstacles you are facing as a father, as a new father, and how do you find your way? Who is your role model? Who do you look up to for knowledge with regard to this journey of parenting? Go ahead, brother.
Bismillah ar-Rahim. I really think in order for anybody to be a good parent, they have to start out by being a good son or a good daughter.
Yeah.
Because really, subhanAllah, like, I've heard so many stories about things that if you're good to your dad or to your mom, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make things so much easier for you when it's your turn to become a parent. You know?
Right, yeah, certainly.
And subhanAllah, like, so I know, for example, a sister who was good to her mom, and now subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed her, and it's very easy for her with her children. You know, they're obedient, they're good, because one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ash-Shakur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the thankful. So when you do something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thanks you for it. And you know, there's a kind of a saying that says that the rewards is many times the results of the action. So and it comes from the same category. So for example, you're good to your parents, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses you and He makes your children good to you.
Yeah, great.
Speaking of young kids, I guess each generation, when you think about it, they think that they have the worst generation to raise.
Yeah, right, that's right, yeah.
Only to be surprised that the generation that comes after that is even worse.
Right.
It's even harder for them. So, subhanAllah, it's really a challenge, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us.
Right.
But we have to do what our parents did with us, and even if some of our parents were not Muslim, then what the community did for us.
Right, certainly. Okay, great point.
So I guess, just having young children, the problem with that is that you always keep thinking that they're still too young to be taught Islam.
Great
when
point.
that's not the case.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
No matter how young they are, they're not too young.
Okay, great.
That's the main point that we need to get across. I'll give you an example.
Go ahead.
You know, my son, my oldest son, he's a year and 4 months old. Okay, he doesn't understand. You know, he's not like the type of person that you would think. You know, I can start with him memorizing Quran, or I can teach him some of the morals or the ethics of Islam. But guess what? When he sees me pray, you know, I see him come and stand right next to me, and he puts his hands like this.
Yeah, right, yeah.
He has no idea what he's doing, but you know, he does the same thing. And then I realized a little bit later, like a few days later, that if there's any rug, like you know this rug that we have right here, and I just say the word Allahu Akbar, automatically he comes and stands on the rug and he goes like this.
MashaAllah, great. Yeah.
Even if he sees, even if he doesn't see anybody doing it, right?
Right.
And the reason for that is kids at that age, they absorb a lot, you know, and their role models are their parents. Most importantly, at that age is the dad.
Right. Okay.
Especially if you have boys.
Yeah, certainly.
So we have to understand that it's never too early to teach our children.
Of course, we have to put in the DNA of the child at a young age, because I do see my son now 3 years old. They're so smart. If you teach them music and songs, they memorize music and songs.
Definitely.
So why not teach them the Quran, teach them Islamic manners? I certainly agree. Brother, I know a lot of parents, they read a lot of books about parenting, and I feel like they're so sophisticated in their parenting. Yeah. Whereas sometimes I feel, man, I'm just trying to keep up. I feel like I'm on a treadmill of changing diapers and feeding the kids and helping my wife do this and that. And I'm just struggling not to fall off this treadmill. So do you feel, are you in the same position? I mean, do you feel like it's a struggle just to keep up?
Definitely.
How do you manage it with your wife?
See, that's why you gotta sit down, you and your wife, and have a plan. You got to plan things out, because if you leave yourself to the daily hassle of changing diapers and feeding and this and that, before you know it, your son will be 5 or 7 years old, and you would have not taught him anything about Islam.
Certainly, okay.
So just have a set plan for yourself. Here's the thing, I would like to emphasize this point. A lot of people focus with their children on memorizing Quran, but they totally forget about teaching them morals or ethics.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so you have a child, mashallah, who's like 10 years old, and he memorizes the entire Quran.
Allah.
But guess what?
No effect.
What good is that doing that person if they're not putting it into practice?
Right.
And yes, a 10-year-old can put it into practice, and a 5-year-old can put it into practice, and even like a 2-year-old can put it into practice.
Yeah, right.
So it's very important to have our children learn the Quran through like teaching it to them, the meanings and the understanding of the Quran, the stories in the Quran. Memorizing the Quran is also absolutely important, but the most important thing for young children is teaching them morals and ethics.
Okay, we're going to take a quick phone call, Brother Osama. And when we get back on the phone call, I want to ask you about some cultural obstacles with regards to raising children. Sure. But first, let's take this phone call from Brother Laith, based right here, originally from Ventura, California, based here now in the Middle East. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Laith. How are you, brother?
Walaikum Brother Malik.
Hey, man, it's great to hear you. Thank you for calling in, brother. We certainly appreciate it. In this edition, we're talking about parenting. Now, I would like you to share with the viewers. I know you're a young man. You're an undergraduate right now. If you could share with the viewers a story of a special moment you had with your mother and your father as a kid, one of those parenting moments that has affected you in a positive way for the rest of your life.
Sounds great. Well, if you're asking for a good experience with my mother, I would say every experience with my mother was the best. So, you know, like,
yes,
an indicator that my heart is still working is my love for my mother. If I feel that I miss my mother and I love my mother, then I know I still have some life in my heart. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I don't think any good person can have any resentment or bitter feelings towards his mother.
Of course.
So,
okay, great.
Yeah, and every moment of my upbringing. Every moment of my upbringing is appreciated. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate all the effort my mother and father put in. Of course, my father is well appreciated as well, because he did just as much as my mother did. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for for that insight. But was there a moment, you know, a special moment with your father, perhaps, that you've cherished and you've always remembered for your entire life, that can give some sort of inspiration to fathers now and mothers that have young children that are struggling so hard, changing the diapers and feeding them and breastfeeding, and they don't see the light at the end. They don't see the light.
I have an embarrassing example.
Go ahead.
My dad used to have a restaurant back in California when we were young.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to use the bathroom properly alone. Okay. So what I would do was I would go inside and I would use the bathroom and stuff, and I would start calling out to my father to come and help me, and while he was working in the restaurant in front of everyone. So he would have to come and take off his apron, put some gloves on, and do whatever, and he would have to come and help me, then go back to work. So I mean, that's one moment that I don't think I could ever forget. Even it's really simple, but at the same time, it shows how much a parent is willing to sacrifice for their child.
Yeah, that is great. So, how many years did it take you though after the fact to appreciate it? Because I know now I didn't appreciate a lot of things but it took me years later. And now I do appreciate them.
I think the older I get, the more I learn to appreciate. And inshallah, I think as soon as I have my first son or first daughter, I will really, it would be the climax of my love and appreciation towards my parents. Like I would actually reach a level of appreciation and love towards my parents that I've never reached before.
SubhanAllah, Allahu Akbar. Brother Laith, we certainly appreciate your time, and we hope to see you here soon hosting programs at Huda TV. And don't give us any excuses, brother. You have to find time, inshallah, for us.
Inshallah, bismillah.
Thank you, brother. Hey, thank you, brother. I certainly appreciate it.
Much love. Assalamu
alaikum. Brother Laith, a good friend of ours. Brother Osam, I want to ask you, what are some traditions that you've inherited, maybe family traditions or customs or cultural practices that you've inherited from your parents that you are really eager to implement now as a father of two young children? And what are some practices that you've inherited from your cultural background that you want to break and you do not want your children rather, to inherit?
I think definitely the most important thing that I would like to inherit is the idea of family itself, right? Because many times, especially being in the U.S., you kind of travel all over. You know, you're not sitting in one state all the time. Like, you know, work takes you and school takes you all around. And you even may go around the world, not only, you know, to different states. So you kind of don't think too much about family, right? Like it's not a big part of your life.
Backseat.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the main things that, alhamdulillah, I mean, I was able to get much better at myself with my parents and with my family. And I'm hoping, inshallah, that my children will have the same connection like I have with my parents right now.
Yeah, certainly. I guess we could say that this isn't very emphasized in the Western world. That's certainly a good point, in that we do have to keep that in mind.
One thing, though, I would not want to inherit from you know, the previous generation is the idea of making choices for your children, especially as they get older. For example, you know, making a choice for your child that you want your child to be a doctor, or you want your child to be an engineer, or you want your child to be this or that. And many times it's the parent wanting their child to be like them. Which may be the case, you know, you may inherit some genes that make you, you know, a scientist like your dad or whatever, but that may not be the case. You may be brilliant at something totally different. So I would definitely like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because I'm sure, like, maybe, you know, some of the older generation, they had the same thoughts that I had, that they wanted their children to be more free, to make their own choices. But then kind of you become controlling of your children because you love them so much, and you think you know the best for them and what's best for them, and they don't know what's good for them. So you end up making choices for them that affect their lives, not yours. They have their own independent lives. I would like, inshallah, to give my children that independence if I'm able to.
Inshallah. Of course, this is a problem when the parent would like to vicariously live through the child. So he looks at the child now and he says, I wasn't able to accomplish X, Y, and Z, so now I will do everything I can to make sure my child does that. Although it's a good intention, but I see there's...
Intentions are not enough. That's what I want to tell myself and tell all young parents right now. And one very, very important thing that I think every single parent should focus on is realizing what talents your child has.
Great point.
Okay? This is a very, very important point. And the younger they are when you discover these talents, the better it will be.
Okay, great. Brother, we're going to I have some other questions for you, but before that, I'd like to take a phone call from Brother Jihad Alessandro Bogan, the president and founder, rather, the president of the Green Party in Switzerland, and a judge there in Switzerland as well. We're very pleased and honored to have him on the Huda TV screen via telephone. Brother Jihad Bohang. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Jihad. Thank you for calling.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
I'm very pleased to have you on the telephone. I certainly hope that you can be with us in the studio soon as, inshallah ta'ala, Brother Jihad. Brother Jihad?
I have difficulty in hearing you, but alhamdulillah, I will try to understand.
Great, okay, I'll go ahead and raise my voice. Brother Jihad, in this program we're speaking about the challenges of raising small children and the obstacles that young parents are facing. Perhaps you can share with us your experiences in this regard and give some encouraging words to young people and to young parents? Go ahead.
As far as I understood from the question is that you asked about the difficulty in raising small children in Europe. Is this correct? Did I understand correctly?
Anywhere in your environment, in your context, in general, the difficulties and challenges of raising children, small children, and perhaps you can give our young parents some encouraging words in this regard.
Yes, well, the experience, I live, of course, here. Outside of Europe, I see a completely different situation with respect to what I experienced in Europe, where really there is a very low natality rate. And apart from the physiological problems in the sense that, of course, pollution and way of life is hurting, of course, this from a physical point of view. There is also a problem, a social problem, because many parents do not accept anymore to this responsibility of raising a child, also in an unstable society. The fact that now many people are losing their jobs, the economic situation, the political situation, these all are factors which make it, of course, difficult for families to have children. And then, of course, the fact that both have to work in order to have enough money in order to continue their lifestyle to which they were used to. And this is the other problem. Many have difficulty in changing their lifestyle, to simplify their lifestyle in order to raise the children. So they put the priority on having rather than being, and then this is also really a moral problem in society in Europe. And countries like Italy, for example, have one of the lowest natality rates in Europe, and you'd be surprised to think, a country which had a tradition of having large families suddenly developed this, is becoming a very old country, and if it wasn't for immigration, Italy would be going back in population, and especially the population would get older and older and older, and this is really a huge problem right now.
Certainly. Well, Brother Jihad, we certainly appreciate your comments and your insight regarding raising children in Europe. I certainly hope to have you in the studio in the future, inshallah ta'ala. You guys at home, stay tuned for more family issues. We'll be right back here with Brother Osama El-Shami, so don't go anywhere.
Never alone, you are never alone.
فلا وربك لا يؤمنون حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما. There are 3 levels. Sister Rayhan from Bahrain.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Fahim from Sweden. السلام عليكم.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. بارك الله فيك Fahim. May Allah bless you and your family.
Sheikh, I have one question.
Now, that is not allowed. Why isn't allowed? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man ghasha falaysa minna." He who deceives or betrays does not belong to us. He's not one of us. A person who is given the sadaqah or leading the prayer does not have necessarily to be praying fard. Maybe he's praying the nafl that is after the prayer, the 2 sunnah after dhuhr or after maghrib or after isha. And the follower, the imam, will be praying with the intention of offering the fard that he has missed. Okay, barakallahu feek.
Reading the Quran is a blessing. Understanding its translation is beautiful. but diving in depth and extracting pearls from it is simply amazing. Did I not ponder upon the Quran? Every week, inshallah, we will dig deep and reflect on the verses of the Quran one by one.
Quran in Depth with Sheikh Ibrahim Zaidan, only on Huda TV.
Assalamu alaikum, you guys. Welcome back to Family Issues. Thank you for staying tuned. Feel free to give us a call. We are live at 0020238 555-249. Of course, we have the email, and you guys don't forget to email me to let me know what you think of the program, who you would like to see in the future, and what topics you would like to be discussed as well. Don't forget facebook.com/HudaTV and Family Issues as well. And inshallah later in this segment, we will be reading the responses to our Facebook comments and your Facebook post on that Facebook page as well. But I want to get back to our special guest, Brother Osama. Thank you for staying with me, brother. I certainly appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Regarding children, now what about quality time? How do you balance your day and manage your time? Because I had one child, and I had all the time for him. Then I had another child, and I find myself dividing this time in two.
Yeah.
So how do you manage it, and how can you balance that when you have more than one child?
First of all, I want to talk about having more than one child.
Okay.
I want to talk to parents who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with one child, and they're saying, you know what, I don't want to have another child so that I don't end up neglecting my first child.
Okay.
Let me tell you something, okay? You will never feel the meaning of family, the word family, true family, until inshallah Allah blesses you with 2 children at least.
Okay, right.
Okay, because this is what I felt. When it was me, my wife, and my first son, Adam, it was me, her, and a kid. That's what I felt, right?
Yeah, right.
But then when we had our second son, Mus'ab, I felt like we were now a family.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so
2 handfuls.
So definitely, I really believe it's from the shaitan when the shaitan keeps telling people to delay having, the second child or whatever, for that reason. For the reason of, okay, you're going to neglect the first child, and that feeling especially happens with the mother. And also, people say, okay, I don't have enough money for the first kid, how am I going to have enough money for the second kid? Well, guess what? Every single person comes with their rizq.
Right.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses every single child with their own rizq, with their own sustenance.
Right.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase your sustenance and will give you more when you have more children. Because subhanAllah, when you think about it, if you're a good Muslim brother, and you, alhamdulillah, Allah blessed you and you married a good Muslim sister, you guys started this nucleus, right, of a family. I don't even want to really call it a family because, it hasn't become a real family yet in terms of...
Now it's a relationship.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you guys built this nucleus. So the shaitan will always stand in your way and will tell you, you know what, don't have more kids. Why? Because the more kids you have, inshallah, there's a great likelihood, since you're good and your wife is good, inshallah you raise them to be good, that they will be people who say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And then they will start their own families, and then it's like a domino effect, and a snowball effect, and it keeps growing from there. So the shaitan will try his best to get in your way and put honestly useless excuses in your way and tell you know what, you're not going to have enough time for the first kid, so don't have the second kid now, and you're not going to have enough money, and you're already suffering with the Pampers for the first kid and the diapers and everything.
Right.
So definitely that's the case. Now, once you do have, inshallah, the second child, yes, you're going to have less time for each, right? But how about using that time for both? You know what I mean?
Right.
If you have 2 sons or 2 daughters or a son and a daughter, just spend that same quality time that you do with both of them.
Right.
And encourage that family relationship instead of, okay, I want to sit with dad now and then I have my second time. It's not an appointment, right? Just have both of them, have your wife as well, and enjoy that family relationship. A lot of us are very busy with our work on a daily basis. Right. Obviously, you and I, we're here for many hours during the week.
All the brothers here,
And many brothers, in our channel and in other places, they commute every single day, maybe an hour, 2 hours. Some people, are on the road for 4 or 5 hours. So we really need to plan out our quality time with our children and to understand that even if they're very young, they still are bonding with you. And when they're older, they're bonding with you.
Certainly.
Don't wait till the day when they become too busy, right?
Yes.
And they leave you out.
Yes, and I do see a lot of fathers, especially working full time, and they don't have time for their children. And in fact, it really shows because the son didn't create a bond with the father, and you can see the difference between with a child that who loves his father and the one that doesn't. But really briefly, I would like to comment also, brother.
And a lot of working mothers as well. This is advice for them. You know,
yeah, great point.
Don't overburden yourself with work. I'm talking to the sisters, and leave out the quality time with your children.
Right. I realized Allah honored me when I became Muslim, but then I realized He honored me even more when I had a child, because I realized what you said. I will now, inshallah ta'ala, leave someone on earth that is of the people of La ilaha illallah. And then another one. And so this is a great blessing, definitely. But brother, what about the test? I feel like Allah is testing me as a father and a husband, and I constantly ask myself, am I performing well as a father and a husband, especially during the difficult times? So how can we take this in a positive way and look at it as a test, as a believer?
Well, we have to realize that life in itself is a test, right? Every single aspect of life is a test. So why wouldn't this part of life, which is having a child, be a test, right?
Yeah, of course.
And guess what? It's a test for you to be a good parent, but it's also a test for you to be a good servant of Allah. Because I feel that this happens to a lot of parents, and I'm sure some of our viewers, this happened to them as well, is that you become so involved with taking care of your children that you forget your own obligations with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
For example, you're a mother, and like you wake up in the morning and you gotta change diapers, you gotta feed the kids, breastfeed one kid, and then feed the other kid, and do this and that. And right now we're in the winter months, so like the time between salahs is like 2 hours.
Right.
So you're sitting there, you woke up in the morning, and all of a sudden the next salah came in and you didn't pray the salah before. How do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bless your day? Right. Or you're too tired and you sleep really late at night because your child will keep you up, so you miss Fajr prayer, and you don't even set the alarm for Fajr prayer. Then guess what? You need to get your relationship set with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And guess what? If you're not able to do all the extra good deeds that you used to do, at least keep the minimum. Keep the basics.
Of course. Yeah, certainly.
For now, until inshallah your children grow up a little bit, and then you're able to get back on track.
And we do have to remind the viewers and ourselves that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Can you speak about that? I know when I had our first child, I go, oh my God, this is so difficult.
Exactly.
But then, as you mentioned to me in private, with the second child, this is going to end soon. This crying at night. Can you speak about remembering that there is a light at the end of the tunnel? It will get easier, inshallah, as the child grows.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Inna ma'al usri yusra." Surely with difficulty there's ease. So whatever difficult situation that you're in, even if it's as simple as, having to change so many diapers, or your child is waking up every hour or every 2 hours at night and you're not able to sleep, whatever the case may be, inshallah there will be a day when it will end. And remember, you're doing this first of all for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you have that intention, things become so much easier. I want you to imagine two people who are doing the same exact thing, right? One mother who just has the intention of, I want my child to grow up and I love my child and that's it. The other parent has all those same intentions that the first mother has, but the second mother, the overarching intention is something that's even much better than that. I'm doing this because I want this child to grow up to become a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to become a person who says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and to become a good Muslim, and to start a good family, and to be like Salahuddin, and to be a person who serves Islam, and a person who does great things for the Muslim Ummah. Wallahi, the burdens on her will become so much less. For two reasons. First of all, because she has a really, really big goal, and more importantly, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make things so much easier for her.
Thank you, brother. Now, let's speak about favoritism as a father. I have 2 children now, and I don't pick one up without picking the other up. I don't buy one thing without buying another thing.
Definitely.
Because this is something that's very important to me. I'm very sensitive about this issue of, I don't want the child, one, to think I favor the other in any way. So how do you balance that? Because the children are so sensitive and receptive to exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So how do you keep a balance between your 2 children?
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
You're doing a good job, mashallah.
Thank you, brother.
First of all, you have to, as you're doing, you have to understand that is a situation. And at the same time, try to balance it. But also, there's another very important tip that I've tried that I think works really well. Make the older child feel ownership of the younger child.
Great. How?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for example, even if in private, tell the older child, this is your little brother. don't treat him just like you would treat someone your age. Right. This is a little guy. Maybe he needs some extra things just because he's small. Right. You know what I mean?
Make him feel like that. Okay.
Then make him feel like that. He'll become less jealous. Okay. Your job will become much easier. Their bond will become much stronger.
Right. Okay. Now, how has your love and relationship changed with your parents, your mother and father, after having 2 kids?
That's a beautiful question. Beautiful question. Anybody who has children can only be more appreciative of their parents than ever before.
SubhanAllah.
SubhanAllah. That's it. Because guess what? You get to witness a very, very minute, a very, very small amount of the pain that they went through. Things are much easier for us now.
Yeah, right.
You know, like back in the day, most of our parents, didn't even have diapers.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say, like in the 80s, for example, 1980s, if you were a child that wears diapers, you had to be like, like a really high-class child.
Right.
Or maybe your dad had to work in a diapers, factory, and they would give him a discount or something.
Right.
But most of the time, people didn't have that.
Right.
So we have it so much easier. The way that we wash our clothes now, we have washers and dryers.
Dishwashers even.
Dishwashers, baby food, all these things never existed before.
Yeah, certainly.
When we were growing up, and we're not that old.
Yeah.
Maybe you are, but you keep saying that about yourself. You're not, brother. You're very young, mashallah.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I see your point. There's Allah has blessed us with a lot of blessings that would facilitate this. And actually, I was just having a conversation with my mother-in-law who told me, no, when the baby went to the bathroom, I had to wash the clothes by hand.
Definitely.
Put it on the line, let it dry, and I would go over.
Imagine that.
Yeah, doing this every night.
We get disgusted maybe because we change diapers. And things, disposable diapers that we take and we throw away.
Right.
Imagine having, with all due respect, but we're talking about real issues here.
Right.
Having to clean the dirt in the diapers and having to wash them by hand, and dry them.
Yeah.
Even maybe sometimes it'll take forever to dry in the winter.
Right.
So subhanAllah, look at all the hardships that they went through. We should become more appreciative of them. If they're alive, we should be good to them. We should not, forget about our parents since we have our kids now.
Right.
SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made something absolutely beautiful. The grandparents now, who are your parents, naturally love their grandchildren. And guess what? They even love them more than they love you as their own child. So Allah made that relationship.
Yeah.
So guess what? Make your parents happy by bringing your kids over to them.
Thank you, brother. Great.
You know what I mean? As much as you can. It's not like, okay, I got to take care of my children at these certain hours, and then I got to go to my mother and my father at these certain hours, right?
Yeah,
what about doing it together?
Yeah.
Your children will love being with their grandparents.
Certainly.
Your grandparents will love being with your children. And maybe, your grandparents will give you some money in the mix, so help you buy some diapers as a gift.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you for that excellent point, brother. I certainly, it's definitely a life-changing experience. But I would like you, in the final minutes here, if you can give a brief reminder to the brothers, and we have about a minute left, the brothers who think generally, look, my work is not in the home. And so they put this humongous burden on the woman. Mm-hmm. So how can we remind him to, listen, brother, it's okay for you to do some work around the house. This is your child, so take ownership and responsibility of that. Don't just be a stranger that comes in and out like a hotel, which we see this, especially in certain cultures in the Muslim world. Go ahead, brother.
Wallahi, I know we don't have much time, so in 30 seconds or less, I'm going to say to the dad to be like the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ used to do a lot of the housework by himself when he was able to. Okay, take care of your children, play with your children. Your wife will be overburdened all the time if she's just left alone. One thing, if you're not able to do a lot of housework because of whatever reason, at least be there. Give your wife the support. Maybe that's all she needs.
Yeah.
But try your best, inshallah, to take care of your children. And if you're not able to help in the housework, at least, the very least that you can do is don't make a mess of yourself.
Thank you, brother. I certainly appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming through the family issues. And you guys at home, thank you as well for watching. I'm sorry we didn't get to the Facebook this episode, but please continue to be engaged with us on Facebook in this program, Family Issues and Huda TV in general. I certainly appreciate your time. So until next time, I leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Never alone, you are never alone. Through sorrow and through grief, through happiness and peace, you are never alone. So now, as you long for your past, Prepare for your future, but knowing nothing's gonna last. You see, this life is but a road, a straight and narrow path to our final abode. So travel well, O Muslim, and paradise will be your home. And always remember that you are never alone.